Blessings, Divine Reflection! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Idalis and I am a spiritual wellness coach, and on this channel I love to talk about esoterica, the occult, and give you practical tools to help you along your spiritual journey. So subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a video in the future. Today's video is going to be a gemstone journey. I'm going to be talking about my favorite crystals that I've used along my own healing journey to empower myself through chakra work, energy healing, and diving really deeply inward to uncover the shadow aspects of my spirit and ultimately my soul. At the end of this video, I will get into how you can choose best crystals for you. I have some tips for you for those who are beginning their crystal journey themselves, and I will be sharing general knowledge that I've gained by working with them and also through the knowledge that I have learned by actually working at a crystal store for a couple years. Maybe you'll find a stone in here that resonates with you. Let's get into the powerful, positive, vibrational energies of the stones that have helped me along my journey that could possibly help you as well. So, my first stones that I've ever gotten at a metaphysical bookstore were this rose quartz, which I talk about in my journey to embodying goddess energy, which is a blog post on my website you can check out. And along with the rose quartz, I also purchased a Lapis Lazuli tablet, which was always a stone that deeply resonated with me, even as a child. I actually wrote a book all about crystals called The Sparkles That Lay Beneath, which was all about stones, and they had these cute little tabs. Are you kidding me? I wrote about amethyst, moonstone, and lapis, jade, and I always felt a special connection to lapis specifically, and to the beautiful sparkles that lay beneath the earth. Upon doing research, it turns out that lapis actually has a connection to ancient Egypt, and of course is also connected to the third eye and psychic power, and paired with my rose quartz created this really beautiful, powerful energy of heightened sensitivity and awareness to my environment that allowed me to feel the energy of a space when I walked into it, to feel the energy of other people around me. Also, for the first time, when working with these stones, I felt the energy that existed within me. I felt myself as a body of energy on a visceral level. It was tangible and such a positive experience. I was always working with these two stones at the same time simply by wearing them and carrying them in my vibration. So my rose quartz I would wear around my neck in this crystal cage, and my lapis would be in my pocket somewhere. I just remember being really happy, very uplifted. Although powerful, working with these stones was also overwhelming at times, and my empathic connection became really intense, and I started having anxiety and panic attacks frequently because I was just like, what's going on? What is reality? Also, I'm probably hearing other people's thoughts without even realizing it. Like, taking on other people's emotions was really intense. And also I wasn't protected, and so other people also had access to my energy, right? And it took me a really long time actually to learn how to ground, which I talk about in a video on my channel. And for those who are new to their crystal journey or are seasoned crystal shoppers, you should definitely try mixing crystals together and see how they interact with you and your reality. Next up, I wanted to talk about tiger's eye and citrine because They are solar plexus chakra stones. The solar plexus, for those who don't know, is the third chakra in the body and is connected to confidence, self-esteem, self-awareness, and leadership abilities and qualities as well. And this is the area of my body that, aside from my root chakra, was one of the most difficult to heal in my body. And so it actually took me a really long time to be able to gravitate toward these stones in the first place. And I also remember losing citrine and tiger's eye. So crystals aren't the end-all be-all, right? There are things you can do that can support your healing journey that aren't just crystals, right? To heal this area in the body, I also changed my diet, which was huge. But I also listened to frequencies, you know, I would drink herbal remedies. There are plants that are good for healing the solar plexus. The first experience I ever had working with this chakra was, I guess you could say, an energy took over me, and I felt this intuitive impulse to place my hand over my stomach. And when I did, I felt a shift in this area, which is, I guess, how you could say that I always knew that I was a healer. I had a gold stone as well, which is also a solar plexus chakra stone. I remember the day it broke into pieces. Still, it was like traumatic, but it also felt like an omen, right? So yeah, I would say take your time in finding the right stones for you. That was my journey with the solar plexus chakra and tiger's eye and citrine. Such powerful stones. There's citrine that's heat treated, and then there's raw citrine. I personally don't feel that significant of a difference when feeling into the energy of these stones. Tiger's eye is really good for grounding as well, helping you to step into your power. For those also wanting to ground further, I would highly recommend working with obsidian. Obsidian specifically helps to dispel one from curses, hexes, negative energy, evil spirits, things like that, okay? I highly recommend obsidian also for those who are looking to cleanse their body after, let's say, a breakup. Not that I have any experience with that at all. And has a really strong, deep earth energy. Working with the root chakra is an amazing place to start, obviously, as it is the first chakra for any of those starting a spiritual journey. Again, check out the Healer's Journey playlist. Now from deep earth to cosmic connection with the divine, Astrophyllite. I love this stone so much. In working with this stone was the first time that I realized there were chakras that existed outside of the body, and was the first time I ever heard about the 8th chakra, which is the soul star chakra, and helps one to connect to their divine purpose. And it was so powerful for me to discovering what was meant for me and finding alignment with my soul. If you want to know more about any of these stones, you should definitely, purchase a book of crystals, and that way you'd get all the hard facts. I'm just sharing my personal experience and my journey. I also really loved fluorite and lepidolite as well. Fluorite's also really good for overthinkers, for those who need help in studying, focusing. Lepidolite is honestly like taking a drug. There's definitely like this sedative quality to lepidolite. You know what? It actually contains lithium, which is common in anxiety medications. I'm kind of a nerd, so yeah, love those stones. I also really love Labradorite for psychic connection, awareness, really powerful stone for magical, mystical beings, those who feel connected to something higher, who want to connect to their psychic capabilities, and can also help one to break free from the trappings of the false matrix, and can help to elevate the awareness to experience the true nature of reality, right? Definitely has a witchy energy, and also connects to the third eye, just like lapis. Opal's good for emotional healing. I've always had an opal jewel. I used to have an opal nose ring in college and always just needed it. And then garnet, don't mean to be flipping you off, is a really beautiful stone. There's my little Scorpio, my little scorpion. Specifically Rhodolite Garnet I really love because it's a grounding stone, but is also a crown chakra stone, which is a 7th chakra, which connects to universal consciousness and exists at the crown of the head, and can also help you to connect to angels. I believe it also has a heart chakra energy. Another name for Rhodolite Garnet is rose stone. That was my struggle in the beginning of my journey, as mentioned before, that I had trouble grounding. Grounding stones have such a slow frequency. The vibration isn't as powerful as a crown chakra stone or a third eye chakra stone like Labradorite or Lapis. So I never gravitated toward those stones, but what's so beautiful about the Rhodolite is that it has the energy of both heaven and earth. And then of course garnet also has a really potent sexual energy to the stone, right? And helps to connect to the sacral chakra and healing the womb space. I do have some dream stones that I've had my eye on for a while. I really love celestite. I want to get some larger stones, obviously. I have some tumbles hiding over here, but I really love rutilated quartz. I want to get a tower of rutilated quartz. Phenakite as well has a really potent energy. Again, I'm like extremely spaced out, okay? Not in this dimension at all. I also though really love chrysocolla, which has this very Mother Earth goddess energy. It has the energy of water and earth, just like rose quartz. It has this really nurturing, mothering energy to it. And then I also really love, amber. If you get the really rare pieces, it has a very solar energy as well. Me being a Leo, I am attracted to all of the solar plexus chakra stones, as Leo is ruled by the sun. I want to get larger Merkaba crystals, which are a symbol in sacred geometry that represent the light body. I want to get spheres, wands, more mala beads, crystal malas I really love. And now let's get into some tips for you to choose the right stones for you. So choosing the right stone is a really intuitive process. Of course, you could walk into a crystal store with the intention of wanting to heal a certain area in the body. If you are experiencing a certain ailment or, mental disorder, maybe you want a crystal for safe pregnancy, safe travels, or perhaps you need healing from some sort of trauma that has occurred in your life. There are so many different types of crystals that can aid you and support you in whatever intention you seek. The crystals are connected to not only chakra points in the body, which I would highly recommend learning more about if you are going into a crystal store with a specific intention. Maybe you're someone who gets nervous when flying. You want to pick a stone that's good for calming the nervous system, right? Or that's good for anxiety. Or maybe you want to empower yourself by choosing a crystal that's connected to a specific zodiac sign. Maybe you want to find your birthstone. There are high grades and low grades of these stones, so you could get a ruby for $4, especially if it's mixed with another stone or is in a matrix of some sort. But also you could go into a crystal store with a clear intention and feel into the energy of the stones, right? This is where your intuition comes into play. You could practice gravitating toward the crystal that you feel is calling you, right? sometimes the stones tell you which stone you need. So, you know, let your eye sort of graze over the crystals, let your hand maybe graze over the crystals, and see which one you're most energetically drawn to. And then, of course, clear quartz is the perfect stone to start for anyone because it acts as a sort of blank slate, and you can charge a clear quartz with your intention. If you want to know more about how to work with these stones in your life, the different ways you can use crystals to heal your body, I am working on a blog post right now about the different ways that you can use crystals, so definitely stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the email list. Join my membership page to get access to actual energy healings. I have a 7 chakra meditation on there that also connects to the 7 archangels. I have a Reiki meditation for love, and I just did one about healing DNA in your body and your ancestry, helping to empower your energy body as it exists now and as you want it to be, right? So you can set an intention over that meditation and use it to empower your manifestations. Let me know down below if you found this video helpful, and I will see you next week for a brand new video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you the best of luck along your crystal journey.